All right, good morning, everybody. What's going on? Let's get into it. Let's get it. All right, I want to talk about the press conference between Canelo Alvarez, Caleb Plant that took place this past Tuesday. Hearing a lot of takes on it, and some things I agree with, and other things I don't agree with. I'm going to address those things in this video. A lot of people are saying that Canelo acted out of character. Uh, that's unlike him to be that way. But in my opinion, from what I've been seeing from Canelo, I want to even say as far back as the Jacobs fight, he's had a chip on his shoulder, right? And he's even said when asked, why are you talking a lot now, more so than you've ever did? What's up with this new version of Canelo? Uh, and he responded, you know what? There's only so much I could take, right? So he's decided, if people want to talk trash to me, then I'm going to start clapping back. If people want to get in my personal space, they want to talk that rah rah shit, then I'm going to check them. Right? Let's see if they're about that rah rah shit. When I get up in their face, I look them dead in the eyes. I take my sunglasses off, and you know, whatever pops off, pops off. Right? And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be totally honest here, right? Canelo Alvarez, when he walked to the center of that stage and took his glasses off, he was just itching for a reason to do something to Plant, whether it be push him, slap him, or whatever. He had that look in his eyes like he was like hoping something was going to pop off. Hoping. Well, B, why do you say that? Well, he was pissed off. And I'm going to tell you, whenever that PED issue with the clenbuterol is brought up, you could see that just changes Canelo's whole demeanor. He gets pissed off, he gets aggravated, and he wants to do something. He lashes out, right? So the whole thing, about what Plant's been doing with the tweets in the interviews, talking about the issue about the clenbuterol, him testing positive for the PEDs, his whole camp saying his whole camp's dirty, saying he's a cheater, whatever whatever the case may be, why he's doing it for whatever reason. People are saying, he's trying to get in his head. He's already got in his head. Well, later on in this video, I'm going to talk about the whole getting in someone's head thing, whether or not if that's always a good thing or a bad thing. We're going to talk about that, right? So definitely the PED thing. If you want to piss Canelo off more than anything, you start talking about the clenbuterol situation where he passed, popped positive for that drug, right? Back in 2018, right? Golovkin was even, talking about before. So there was needle marks in his stomach. Billy Joe Saunders was taking shots at him about, the PED test and all that. So again, Canelo's going to have to understand, he's going to have to get used to the fact that, once you pop positive for a PED before a fight, it's going to follow you around the rest of your career. So that's never going to go away, right? That's never going to go away. Some people may bring it up, some people may not, but it's always going to be talked about to the end of his career. It's just always going to be there, and he's going to have to learn to accept that, right? So it pissed him off, right? I don't think the whole motherfucker thing, like I said, really bothered him that much. He was just looking for a reason. And when Plant started talking, it started cussing him out. And they were both in each other's personal space. So we've seen that before in many instances, whether it be a weigh-in, a press conference. A lot of times you'll see physical contact. You'll see a slap. You'll see a push. So everyone's acting all surprised. And once again, here comes the virtue signaling and who started it, whatever. It doesn't matter who started it, man. This is a fucking fight, all right? This is a fucking fight. This ain't a fucking chess match. This ain't a fucking game of poker. It's a fucking fight. These are two men getting ready to hurt each other come November 6th. They're going to be trying to take each other's heads off. And you want them to have a mentality of, let's play nice. Yeah, I understand. You got to be professional. You don't want to fuck up the payday. But that's why, they hit each other with open hands. They didn't want to break their hand. They didn't want to cut each other. That's why both men, when they hit each other, they hit each other with the open hand, and they just wanted to, get each other's attention. That's why you see pushes. Very rarely do you see punches, actual closed fists. I mean, I'm not saying it never happens. We saw it with Morales and Barrera. We saw it with Riddick Bowe, Larry Donald. But for the most part, there's usually pushes and slaps, whatever, because guys don't want to fuck up their payday. They don't want to fuck up their hands, and they don't want to cut each other, right? That's my opinion, and I think, it's pretty plausible to have that opinion. So who won this press conference? And will any of this really matter come November 6th? So first of all, let's talk about the whole Plant getting in Canelo's head, right? Is he in his head? 100%. 100%. But is that a bad thing? And is Canelo in Plant's head? Because if you're going to fight somebody, right? We got like 43, 44 days left to go for this fight. Both men should be in each other's heads. You should be thinking about the other guy 24 hours a day, because this is the guy you're going to go to war with. You should be thinking about each other more than you're thinking about your girlfriends and your wives, right? Because you're going to be going to war, right? You have to be focused on this individual. You have to be thinking about him when you're training. You have to be thinking about him when you're sleeping. You got to be thinking about him when you're eating, right? You got to be thinking about him all the time, because you need to be dialed in. You need to be locked in on your opponent, right? You got to constantly be thinking of how to fight this guy, how to prepare for this guy, everything you do, right? That's why when you see guys hitting heavy bags, they hang the picture of their opponent on the heavy bag and put a picture of the guy on the wall and put an X on it. Mayweather used to do that, because you're supposed to be thinking about that guy. And if you're not thinking about that guy, then there's a problem, because that means you're not focused on your opponent. You're not focused on the fight. You're not putting 100% of your energy into the fight. So for the next 43 to 44 days, both guys should be in each other's head. That's not a bad thing, right? That's not a bad thing. And yeah, the PED situation does aggravate Canelo. It does make him angry. But is being angry a bad thing in a fight? Or is it being angry a bad thing in any facet of life? That anger, that rage, if it can be controlled, can motivate a fighter, right? It could motivate a fighter. It could make a fighter more focused. It could make a fighter more intense, right? It could help him fight with more of a purpose. So when someone's angry in a fight, it doesn't necessarily mean they have to be reckless, right? They have to take stupid chances, right? Emotions are very, very beneficial in a fight. If you're even fear, because fear will help you be more alert in a fight. The fear of losing will help you prepare that much better for an opponent. The more you respect an opponent, right, the better you'll be prepared, right? You'll have your senses heightened. You won't be complacent, right? So these statements like, okay, yeah, he's in his head. All right, Golovkin pissed him off too. He brought up the PED issue. So did Billy Joe Saunders. And you can make an argument that, they poked the bear and they woke a sleeping giant, because Canelo in the second Golovkin fight, because he was angry, because he was so focused, and because he was so motivated and determined to say, hey, okay, you want to make this about the PED issue? All right. Well, I'm going to show you that I can perform without this PED, that I work hard and can, right? So, he's enrolled in the WBC clean boxing program. He's been testing VADA, whatever. He hasn't failed a drug test since that 2018 situation, right, with the clenbuterol. So now when people bring that up, I think it lights a fire under him. I think it makes him fight better. I think it motivates him more. I think it makes him fight with more intensity, with more determination, because now he's got to prove everybody wrong. He's got to say that, you know what, I'm not a great fighter because I took a PED back in 2018. I'm a great fighter because I work hard, because I have skills. So that anger, right? That frustration, that irritation, I don't think it serves as a negativity in Canelo before a fight. I think it actually ignites him. I think he fights better with that chip on his shoulder. And a lot of guys do, right? Whenever you tell someone that they can't do something, or the reason why they are able to do something is because of A, B, and C, and not, D, E, and F. So again, Golovkin talked shit about the PEDs. It pissed Canelo off. So did Saunders, So that's going to be there. But Canelo, it hasn't shown to affect his performance. So being in Canelo's head, right, getting Canelo pissed off, right, may not always be a good idea. At least history has shown us that it hasn't been a good idea, because it really hasn't had a negative effect on his preparation or his performance, because he's always made weight. He's always looked in phenomenal shape, and he's been winning. He hasn't lost, right? He's beaten some pretty solid guys. So being in Canelo's head, I don't think in this situation is a bad thing. Could be a bad thing for Plant. All right? Because we saw, Canelo when he fought Kovalev. We saw him when he fought Caleb Smith. Saw him when he fought Jacobs. Those guys were pretty respectful to him. And, 2 of those fights went the distance, and the other fight went 11 rounds. But the guys who talk shit and piss him off, those are the guys that, end up paying for it more than the guys who don't. I mean, history has just shown us that. Let's be honest. The second Golovkin fight went the distance, but that was a much more aggressive Canelo. That was a better version of Canelo compared to the first matchup, when both guys were respectful to each other. So once the respect was gone, once Canelo was pissed off, and he said a lot, he felt as though he had something to prove. I'm going to prove that I am a great fighter. I'm going to prove that this is a result of my hard work, my good performances, and this is a result of my preparation. It has nothing to do with the PEDs. So yeah, this PED thing is going to follow him around for the rest of his life. It's going to piss him off. It's always going to anger him, I believe, and it's always going to frustrate him. But he's found a way to use that as motivation. He's found a way to use that as being more determined. He's found a way to use that to work harder. He's found a way to use that, in my opinion, to be the best version of himself. So it's good sometimes to have that chip on your shoulder, and the whole getting in your head thing, being angry. Again, those can be used as weapons for a fighter if they're controlled. Now, if you're angry to the point where you're reckless and you're not focused, Canelo was extremely angry at that press conference, extremely angry, but his instincts kicked in when Caleb Plant swung at him. I believe the left hand glanced his face with the fingertips, and he rolled it, and in real time it looked like it didn't even hit. So Plant tried to hit him with a surprise slap, right? And he reacted to it beautifully, right? So he was poised. He's ready. He's ready for whatever, right? And then you want to talk about, oh, well, Canelo, people are insulting Canelo. Oh, why did he fly off the handle just because someone called him a motherfucker? How could he allow Plant to upset him that much just by saying motherfucker or whatever? But once again, it wasn't just about the motherfucker. It was about all the shit talking about the drugs, right? That pissed him off. He took the sunglasses off. He had a look in his eye like, I'm hoping this motherfucker says something to me because I'm gonna do something to him. He had that. I'm not gonna say this was premeditated, but it kind of, he had that look in his eye like, if something pops off, it pops off. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So if he comes up here and he's civil, then okay, I'll it is what it is. But if he does one thing that pisses me off, says one negative thing to me, swears to me, whatever, he was looking for a reason to put his hands on Caleb Plant without question. Caleb Plant had his hands behind his back. He just wanted to talk shit, right? So who won this press conference? Well, I want to be honest with you. Plant did a great job, talking here. He said a lot of slick shit to Canelo, and Canelo really couldn't refute anything he said. I mean, everything Plant said, he's you could say was factual. He did test positive for the PED, right? He called him a cheater. Technically, if you want to call him a cheater, yeah. I mean, he cheated, and because he didn't follow the rules. What's the definition of a cheater or cheating? You don't follow the rules. Plant wasn't wrong when he said that. He could say all that shit, And I don't think either man's afraid of each other. I don't think Canelo's afraid of Plant. I don't think Plant's afraid of Canelo. Right? I don't believe all that shit. Right? I don't believe any of that shit. I think both guys are focused on each other, and they're itching to fight. They want to get this on. Plant's got a chip on his shoulder because everybody has been telling Plant that he's been less than, not only in his career, but his whole life, right? So he's got a chip on his shoulder. And Canelo's going to have to try to do the best he can with erasing this history with the PED test, right? Like I said, that's never going to go away. All right, so both guys got a chip on their shoulder. So who won this press conference? I think Plant won the verbal part of the press conference, but Canelo clearly won the physical part. So based on that, I'm going to say Canelo clearly won this press conference because he bossed Plant, and then you could say, well, Plant rattled him, he pissed him off, he got him to push him first, so he got in his head, whatever. Okay, but you guys are telling me will tell you, and you guys will tell me, you Plant fans, oh, well, Plant's from the street. So if you're from the street, right, everybody knows there's that one dude that you just can't get up in his face and talk shit to. There's always that one dude in the hood that he ain't having it. He ain't gonna go back and forth with you with the slick talk shit. Soon as you get in this guy's face, right? He's the guy that's always going to steal off on you. He's just not having it. And like I said, Canelo's at a point now where he's just had it. Like he's just not taking it anymore. He's going to clap back, whether it be with his mouth or whether it be with his hands. He's going to do what he got to do. That's what he's going to do. So, Canelo did push him first. I do believe he was pissed off because of all the PED accusations. That's not even, and again, it's not accusations. It's fact. Plant's right. It's fact. But at the end of the day, right, this is a fight. It's not a rap battle. It's not about who can talk the best. It's about who's going to bring it, right, the night of the fight, right? You were both in each other's space. You talk shit. Canelo made a decision. He was going to push you, right? You made a decision. You were going to come back with a left-hand slap. Canelo came back with a right-hand slap, and he clearly hit you with his full palm on your face. Then he came back with a left hand. and you thought he was going upstairs, but he came from a 45-degree angle. You leaned down and he pushed that sunglasses in your face. Oh, well, the sunglasses cut my eye. Okay, but no matter what, if them sunglasses wasn't on your face, that fucking left hand was going to hit you in that cheekbone. And he was going to hit you with this part of his hand. So that's the hardest part of your palm right here. Some people can argue this is even harder than your fist. Some martial arts, they hit you with that part of your hand. That's not a soft part of your hand. So either way, with the glasses or not, he was going to land that left hand clean on you. You can even make an argument that the glasses saved you from not getting hit directly in the eye. Because if that glasses wasn't there, his hand could have rolled up your cheek and went right in your eye, and he could have fucked up your eye. So you may have been lucky that that's all you suffered was that little scrape from the glasses, right? But Plant glanced Canelo's face with that left hand, but Canelo landed 2 clean shots on him. And like Coach Malachi said, made a great point. When Canelo, went with that left hand, just as Billy Joe Saunders ducked down, so did Plant, because Canelo got away. Like when he dips that left shoulder, everybody thinks he's coming over the top with a hook, but he throws it from a 45-degree angle. He comes up and under, so he's getting guys to duck, and Plant ducked right into that punch. So this shows me, and B, this is just a press conference. No, that brief exchange showed me that Canelo is a much, much skilled fighter, right? Much, much more skilled fighter than Plant. And all you got to do is go back to that Uzcategui fight. Everyone, and that was a good performance for Plant, but go back and watch them last 4 rounds. Plant was in survival mode those last 4 rounds. He looked uncomfortable. His face was all smashed up. And that's another thing. Plant does cut very easily, right? So, if he gets hit by Canelo like he did in those last 4 rounds against Uzcategui, and Uzcategui was landing left uppercut and the left hook in those last 4 rounds with regularity. So that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem because those are 2 of Canelo's best punches. And that left uppercut was what fucked up Billy Joe Saunders' eye, right? Fucked up his right eye. Go back and watch that Uzcategui fight with Plant, those last 4 rounds. He was getting hit with that left uppercut and that left hook, right? Uzcategui is a good fighter, but he's not a great fighter. So if a good fighter can piece you up and win the last 4 rounds, I had that fight 7-5 for Plant, and the 2 knockdowns made it 115 and 111. I mean, make no mistake about it, Uzcategui is a good fighter, right? He's a good fighter, right? But he's not a great fighter. Uzcategui, in my opinion, is not better than Erislandy Lara. It's not better than Billy Joe Saunders, right? It's not better than Gennady Golovkin, right? Not better than Danny Jacobs, right? I don't even think Plant is better than Danny Jacobs. I don't even think Plant is better than Billy Joe Saunders. So who won this press conference? Well, like I said, Plant was, he was better behind the mic. He was talking that shit. Oh, he got in his head. But again, just because you pissed him off, like I said, that ignites him. That's going to make him more determined. That's going to make him fight even better. Because other guys pissed him off when they talked about that drug test issue, as I mentioned earlier, and they paid for it. So it seems to me that an angry Canelo is a much more determined Canelo, a much more focused Canelo, a Canelo who's more intent on wanting to cause damage, right? He's more aggressive, right? So make no mistake about it. Just because someone's angry, that doesn't mean they're going to be reckless. That doesn't mean they're going to be irresponsible. That doesn't mean they're going to make poor decisions. I've been angry my whole life, man. I've been angry my whole life, right? But I never let that anger consume me. I never made that anger. I never ever made that anger paralyze me. I've been angry at people my whole fucking life, man. I got this rage inside me my whole life. People telling me I'm less than, people telling me I can't do it. 10 years old, your dad tells you, I'm not your father. You're the son of the devil, son. So every day I would wake up, I said to myself, he's fucking wrong, man. And every time someone gives me a compliment or says, Beeb, you're a good dude or whatever, I always think of my father when he said that to me. My father's gone now, right? I made peace with my father before he passed away. But that's one thing he said to me to this day that I'll never forget. Told a 10-year-old boy that I'm not your father. You are the son of the devil, Joseph. And that lit a fire under me, right? That made me say to myself that I'm going to prove to this man that I am better than when he thinks I am. So that ignited a fire under me. Being angry all those years maybe made me uncomfortable at points, but sometimes you need to be uncomfortable to succeed in life, right? You can't have everything cushy. You can't have everything go your way. Sometimes it's good to be uncomfortable. Sometimes it's good to be angry. Sometimes it's good to be pissed off. Sometimes it's good to have people get under your skin, because then you say to yourself, I'm going to perform in spite of all that. And that's what Canelo has done, man. And that's what Canelo will do. And he has shown that he's been doing that, right? Oh, Canelo knew that what motherfucker meant. Canelo uses the word again. Canelo wanted to send a message to this motherfucker. You talk that shit, I'm going to check you now. I'm going to check you now. Like I told you, plants from the street, right? You all said plants from the street, you Plant fans. Remember, I repeat, there's always that one dude in the street that you want to get up in his face and you want to pop off to. You want to talk that shit to. He ain't going to talk back with you. He ain't going to have a comment. That's what happens, man. That's what motherfuckers do. That's what real dudes do. Real dudes don't fucking talk. They settle it. They settle shit. So this is a fucking fight. This ain't a rap battle, like I said. So yeah, Plant had the slicker words on his. He talked slicker at this press conference without a doubt. But when the shit popped off, Canelo landed the 2 solid shots, pushed him halfway across the stage, right? Pushed him halfway across the stage. This motherfucker comes back. Canelo looking like fucking Neo from the Matrix. Rolls the shit, slips back, right? Shit just fucking the shit hit him, but it glanced him, right? But Canelo come over the top with the right hand. Bah! Then he come back with the left hand. Like this, dip that shoulder. Plant's dipping down, just like Billy Joe Saunders dipped down. Boom! Pushes them sunglasses right in his face. Oh, well, the sunglasses. Well, okay. So no, the sunglasses saved your ass. Because if that fucking palm slid up his cheek and went into your eye, that motherfucking eye would have been swollen. And Plant, yes, I go back and watch that. Like Plant had that look on his eyes, like, what the fuck just happened? What the fuck just happened? Plant looked shook. And then he's sitting there, with the fucking rag, fucking wiping it. Like I mean, I'm being honest, bro. Plant did not look like he looked like, what the fuck happened? He looked uncomfortable. He had that look on his face like, what the fuck is this, man? And I guarantee you, and I'm not saying Plant, I'm glad Plant did what he did. I don't think Plant's afraid of him at all. I don't think Plant's a punk. But here's the thing. Plant isn't as street savvy as he comes off. Because when you get up in somebody's face, right? Canelo took his sunglasses off. He let you know that this is real. I want to look in your motherfucking eyes and see if you're really about what you say you're about, right? And then you keep your sunglasses on because he's trying to look into your soul. Maybe you don't want to look in his soul. because you can't see clearly with sunglasses on, right? So he pushes you, and what do? You come back at him and you keep the sunglasses on, right? I don't know. I don't know how many fucking dudes fight with sunglasses on, but if you really about that shit, I'm not saying I'm not calling him a punk. I'm not insulting him, his manhood in any way. But if you have the presence of mind knowing that shit's gonna pop off, right? You take them fucking sunglasses off. So you can see what you're fucking gonna be hitting. Right? You can't see someone clearly with sunglasses on. So right then and there, Canelo showed his experience, right? Because Canelo is not a punk, and Plant's not a punk. But Canelo, in my opinion, you know, he's from Mexico, man. Just like JC said, Beeb, streets of Mexico and streets of Tennessee, day and night. I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree. Because Canelo is no punk. I mean, he's negotiating with fucking gangsters to get his brother back, right? So neither man is a punk, but Canelo is more about it than Plant is, in my opinion. He's more about it because Canelo, he was ready. He was hoping shit was gonna. Without question, Canelo initiated all that. He pushed him, right? I'm not saying he planned to do that, but it was in the back of his mind that, like I said, I repeat myself, he was saying to himself, if this guy says one thing, moves the wrong way in front of me today, I'm gonna fucking do something. Sometimes you like that, like you're gonna, you have to deal with somebody. You got a problem with somebody, and you got to meet with them and talk it out. And you're saying to yourself, well, if this guy is cool, then nothing's gonna happen. But if he says one slick word, he starts off with any slick shit, I'm gonna fucking steal on this dude, right? You have that mentality sometimes, and I think that's the mentality Canelo brought to this press conference. So do I believe he cared about the motherfucker word? No, I don't. I think he's more angry with the shit talking, insulting, the team, right? Insulting, him, saying that he's a cheater. And again, he can call him a cheater. Technically, Canelo can be called a cheater because he did fail that PED test, right? So Canelo, in my opinion, clearly won this press conference because again, they're not. It's not going to be a fucking spelling bee. It's not going to be a fucking a rap battle. It's not going to be a battle rap on who can talk the most shit. When it's all said and done, it's all about what these guys can do with these. And I'm telling you right now, in that brief exchange, as stupid as it may sound, Canelo showed me he's not levels. He's not only levels above Plant in skill, right? He's light years ahead of him. Light years ahead of him. Go back and watch that Uzcategui fight. Look how uncomfortable Plant was in those last 4 rounds. Look at the punches Uzcategui, and Uzcategui's not the fastest guy in the world, right? He's a good fighter. He's a solid fighter, right? He's a solid fighter, right? But he was landing the uppercut and the left hook at will. I'm saying Canelo stops Plant in 7 rounds. And if this fight enters the 9th round, I'm telling you right here and now, I will be utterly shocked. I will be shocked if this fight goes into the 9th round. If this fight goes past 8 rounds, I will be shocked. I like Plant. It's no disrespect. Plant is not a punk. I love that Plant did what he did. I think he had to do that. And that press conference, I'm not going to lie to you. After Plant got pushed, I said to myself, I hope he does something back. I hope he just doesn't walk away. I hope he at least pushes him, but even touches him some way. I was hoping that he came back. You know why? Because that made me believe that, yes, Plant is dialed in too. And I think Plant is dialed in. I think Plant is not afraid. I think Plant is focused. But he did look a little shook after, like, he's like, damn, man, what just fucking happened to me? He was startled. Did look a little shook. I'm not gonna lie to you. But he did get it back together, and he's back to doing what he do. Like I don't think Plant is a punk at all, man. So anyone calling Plant a punk, people are making fun of Plant. No, don't make fun of Plant. He did the right thing. He did what I hoped he would do, and what you all should hope he would do. Because now we got someone who's in there that really wants to fight Canelo. He's not going to go in there just to survive. He's not going to go in there. Like, he's going to fight. He's going to fight. He's going to try to fight at least until he can't fight no more. So y'all should be happy with what you saw in that press conference. And like Coach Malachi said, because he had this thing dead on. Coach Malachi's take on this was better than anyone's take on this, because he's unbiased and I'm unbiased, right? Both unbiased. No, and I'm telling you right now, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that Plant is 10 times better than I think he is. I hope he wakes up the morning of November 6th and he's a version of himself that I've never seen before. I hope there's something inside Plant that's been itching to get out that I've never seen before. I'm fucking hoping and praying for that. And I'm not even a religious man. I wouldn't be upset if Plant wins this fight. No one loves the upset more than me, right? But I got to be real with you. I have to tell you what I see. Light years ahead of him. Canelo ain't lying when he says he's fucking levels above Plant. He ain't lying. Yeah, you can look at, I agree with that, man. Like, you look at Plant's face, he was like, what the fuck just happened? Yeah. Yeah, Plant was shocked that Canelo drew blood. Right? And then he's trying to say, well, it was the sunglasses that did it to me. Again, that left hand would have landed more flush, and you could have fucking had a hematoma on your face. Those glasses saved your ass. Best believe them sunglasses saved his ass. We should all be thankful. It was kind of stupid that he left them on, because again, you can't fight with sunglasses on effectively, in my opinion. But they saved his ass, because he had a scratch on his face as opposed to having a fucking swollen hematoma on his eye. So I'm glad Plant did what he did. But at the end of the day, like Coach Malachi, he fucking nailed it. The way Canelo reacted to the physical altercation, and the way Plant reacted to the physical altercation, shows you right there, man. Canelo is a fucking phenomenal fighter, man. He's whether you love him, hey, you don't have to like him. You can question the opposition, but he's a natural fighter, bro. Soon as that fucking, the way he reacted to that slap, if a guy, right, is 2 feet, like right there, 2 feet away from you, and he's fucking throwing a punch that you're not even ready for, like, you're not expecting it, right? And you're reacting to it last minute like that, and you're rolling that shot, and you're coming back, boom, boom. Even Errol Spence said, damn, man, you can't allow yourself to be counted like that. Canelo doesn't have the fastest feet in the world. But from the waist up, Canelo is a slick motherfucker, man. He's got quick fucking hands, bro. And those feints are nothing to play with, bro. Those feints are nothing to play with. He lands that left 45 on everybody. I don't care how good you are. He landed that same punch against Lara. Even though I thought he lost that Lara fight, Go back and watch that same 45 with that little dip. Boom. Gives you that dip. Boom. 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 Slips right up underneath with that fucking left hand 45. That fucked up. Iruslani Lara's eye. Made his eye get cut in that fight. That was a bad cut. And that changed it up. As soon as Lara got cut like that, you know, I thought that, you know, it took a lot of little steam out of him, and he started losing some of those later rounds. You know what I'm saying? So that was the punch, that uppercut. That go back and watch. I hate to keep repeating myself, but you guys, I implore all of you, go back and watch that Uzcategui fight. Right? Go back and watch it, and you'll see Plant leaning into that uppercut, and Uzcategui like fucking spinning his head around like it was on a fucking swivel. Then the left hook, right? If Uzcategui had more gas in the tank, I'm not making excuses for Uzcategui, but he was dry as a bone in that fight. He looked like he struggled to make weight in that fight, right? I'm just being honest. That wasn't even the best version of Uzcategui, in my opinion. But again, we can't play the game of woulda, coulda, shoulda. But you have a Uzcategui in there who wasn't even the best version of himself. And I had him winning 5 rounds. And there was a point, I want to say in the 10th round, where I thought he could possibly stop Plant. Plant was holding on for dear life. And the referee was warning Plant, hey, man, you keep holding, I'm going to take a point away. He was in straight survival mode from rounds 9 through 12. And again, that's no knock on him. He was hurt. So by no means am I saying, you know, Plant is not a real fighter, that he's not going to go in there with the mentality that I want to beat this guy. I have no criticism in that regard for Plant. But again, I will be utterly shocked. I'll be more surprised if Plant goes goes into that 9th round. I'll be more surprised if that happens than if I was to hit the lottery. I think I have a better chance of hitting the lottery than Plant entering that 9th round. I'm being honest here. I don't even think that there's a prop bet for this fight. Let's see if there's a prop bet for this fight. Let's see. I'm going to do the poll. I'm going to do a poll in this chat. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know what you think here. Do a quick poll. All right, so we're going to do the poll. Does Plant enter into round 9? Guys, please hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Share the video as well. So that's what I want to know. I'm going to say no. I can't even vote on my own poll. That fucking sucks. So I'm curious to see what happens here and what you guys say in this poll. Yeah, so Canelo definitely showed in this press conference that he's the much better fighter. As stupid as that may sound, that little fucking 30 seconds or 20 seconds, whatever it was, in that 20 seconds, that should tell you right there that Canelo is a much better fighter than Plant. Shout out to Coach Malachi, man. I agree with him 110%. I don't give a fuck about the words. I don't give a fuck about the fact that Canelo's angry. I don't give a fuck about the fact that Plant is in his head. I think, like I said, I think they're both in each other's heads. Plant's pissed off because he's got a chip on his shoulder because he's being told not only by Canelo, but everybody that he doesn't belong in there with Canelo, that he's there to just hand his belt over to Canelo. And he don't like that. He in his mind, he believes that he's better than that. He believes I do believe that he truly thinks that he is better than what people say he is. Now, because I don't agree with him, that's no knock on him, right? That's no diss on him. I'm just going by what I see, right? So that's why Plant, I think, is going at Canelo and bringing up all the drug stuff, because he that's part of his frustration and his anger with how he's being perceived in this fight. So he's just lashing out, in my opinion. And Canelo, like I said, that really sets him off when people bring up that the positive drug test, because in his mind, that's telling him that people are saying to him that all that hard work that he put in his career, all those fights that he won, all of the great things that he's done in the sport of boxing are going to be erased by some people because of that one positive drug test back in 2018. So both of these guys are angry. Both of these guys have something to prove. Both of these guys have a chip on their shoulder for different reasons. And like I said, if you're training to fight somebody, right, from the day you start camp to the day you walk into the ring, that guy should be in your head. You should be thinking about that guy 24/7. You should be. You should be obsessed with that guy, because that is going to enable you to be prepared. You're going to be sitting there and you're going to a birthday party in the middle of training camp, right? And you look and there's a piece of cake on the table and everyone's like, "Oh, just have a little bite." And you're looking at that cake, but then you see Caleb Plant there instead of that cake. And then as soon as you see that, you're like, "Nah, I don't want it." That's what you should do as a fighter. I think Canelo comes out methodically in round one. Then the second half of round one, you're going to see him just start fucking firing like crazy. This is going to be the most entertaining, impressive performance from Canelo. This is going to be his biggest highlight reel of a fight, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. We only got 8 votes here on this poll, man. Come on, let's get everyone to vote. Let's get everyone to vote here. Yeah, this is going to be a one-sided fight, man. It's not even going to be close, in my opinion. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here, man. Make sure you tune into the roundtable tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time on the channel. We have a great panel lined up for you. We're going to be talking about this topic as well as many other great topics. We got the big fight with Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk coming up on Saturday. And as always, make sure you check out the Ringside Reporter podcast every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time with myself and my partner, Eric Lauder. Share the video, subscribe, like the video, spread the word. Till next time, Bieber's out. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great day, man. Be good, everybody. Stay safe.